Welcome back. Apple's starting to see a turnaround in China, according to new data from IDC. Shipments ticking up less than 1% from last year as CEO Tim Cook visits that all-important market this week. Steve Kovac has more in today's Tech Check. Steve.
Yeah, Leslie, building on some momentum we saw in the last earnings report. But look, Tim Cook is now this week on one of his regular tours of China. That's Apple's most important market outside of the United States, of course. And sure, he got that custom-made Labubu. Look how cute that thing is, which sent shares of Pop Mart soaring yesterday and kind of broke the internet for a bit there. But he's also there to play politics and promote Apple's new iPhone 17 lineup. All as Apple's China's business is showing some early signs of turning around, thanks in part to government subsidies that effectively discount some of the lower-end iPhones. And we're already seeing evidence that's driving sales for the base model of the iPhone 17 in China. So look, you have Cook here playing it both ways. As state media reported, Cook promised new investments in China, though didn't get many specifics out of that report. He's also working to move more manufacturing outside of China to avoid the worst of President Trump's tariffs. Over the last several hours, we've seen more evidence of Cook's moving away from China. For example, Reuters reporting Apple is lobbying to change a tax law to get a break on manufacturing equipment, and Bloomberg reporting that upcoming gadgets like a security camera and tablet for controlling smart appliances will be made in Vietnam. And that all tracks with the vision Cook laid out back in May when the tariff threat was at its worst for Apple. So over time, Apple plans to move as much of its production for U.S.-bound iPhones to India, and it is working. For example, Jefferies analysts this week estimated only about 9 million iPhones in the U.S. will come from China this year. Other products like U.S.-bound Macs, watches, and AirPods, they are already being made in Vietnam before being shipped to the U.S. And speaking of those other devices, Apple announcing today new MacBooks, a new iPad Pro, and Vision Pro. They are the same products as before, but they have a new chip, the Apple M5, more powerful, of course, than previous ones, guys.
Now, Steve, it feels like Apple has been relatively unscathed compared to some of its other big tech peers. I'm thinking in the chip space as it pertains to kind of being in the middle of these geopolitical tensions. Do you expect that to continue? Do you feel like Tim Cook is kind of playing things the way that he should? Is he able to really kind of go down that line in a way that appeases both sides?
Yeah, and on the chip side, let's talk about what's going on there. So the M5 chip today is a great example, Leslie. That is made for consumer products, not made what NVIDIA does for training artificial intelligence, what AMD wants to do. This is just for personal products. However, there is an AI angle here because part of the geopolitical dynamic that we're seeing here is Apple is actually moving some production from overseas to a new facility being built in Houston, Texas, where they're going to be building some of those AI servers that are powered by those M-series chips locally here. That's what powers Apple Intelligence, that private cloud network. So a little bit of a different take from what you might be seeing from OpenAI and NVIDIA and all these AI mega deals that we're doing. Not as much money sloshing around by far.
Yeah, busy week for Apple, whether that's the hardware or Eddie Q's comments about Apple TV this week and services.
No more
Steve,
plus.
appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah.